Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hypergamous Journey. Another day, another video. So I watched this TikTok clip featuring Oprah Winfrey. She was, she was speaking with an East Indian married couple, both beautiful looking. You know, the man was well groomed and handsome, and the woman was dressed in her traditional dress for India, sari and a top, and beautiful colors. She was beautiful, he's beautiful. She was beautiful, he was beautiful. And so Oprah said to them, so both of you are married and you both live with your parents. So I'm thinking it's the guy's parents, your parents. And so the woman said yes. And so Oprah said, oh, okay, so how does that work? And so the wife, Oprah says, how does that work? So the wife, she deferred to her husband. So she said, turned her head and she said, I'll let you answer that. He paused and he said, you live with your family, right? And Oprah said, no. And he said, how does that work? And I just cracked up because East India has a history of what, hundreds of thousands of years? Like their culture in Africa and the Middle East are way, 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 way older civilizations than America. But we think we know every damn thing, right? We think we know everything. Now, we might know something about capitalism. I said something about capitalism because a lot of people will die to get here and have died to get here to create a more fruitful lives for themselves and their families in generations to come. But that got me thinking about a friend of mine who allows his children to come in and live with him as needed. And especially when they start to hit financial trouble. Every child, I believe, every adult child needs a soft place to land when they hit upon financial hard times or, you know, there's a medical need, right? That's part of what we do as parents. We provide a sanctuary for our children to return to, regardless of age, when they need us. And hopefully they will do the same for us as we mature and become seniors. That's usually how we hope it works. So that got to me thinking about multi-generational living, where there are groups of ethnicities where there's this one big house where, you know, the grandparents, maybe the great-grandparents and the children and the grandchildren are living together, harmoniously living together in let's say at least three generations. So there's the grandparents on one level, then the parents, and then the adult children. And it's all acceptable. It's all acceptable. The children are not like rearing and bucking to get out. They know that they must provide for their families and marry and stuff, but it's okay to come back to the family home to live. The Jacksons, to me, are the most who believe in that system today. You know, the Jackson 5 provided the financial jumping off point, the Jackson 5 financial jumping off point for the family to rise up and become the people that they are today. But they have this estate that they bought in 1970 something that all the children and the spouses and the grandchildren and maybe even some of the great-grandchildren live there. And this is not new. It's a new or foreign concept in America. So that got me to thinking about my friend who allows his children to come and go out the house when they become financially strapped or, you know, unemployed. And these are adult children who are responsible. I'm not talking about the irresponsible ones, but then, you know, they're parents who feel like even the irresponsibles need a place to land, a safe place to land. I don't have children, so I don't know about that, but I know the way I was raised, that wouldn't be happening with my mother. You're either going to be responsible and, you know, stay on your feet, but not the irresponsible ones who are doing things. So we're not talking about them. We're just talking about responsible adult children who run into problems, because as long as you live, you're going to run into some problems. And financial will be probably the first. You lose your job or you get laid off or something like that. You can't pay your rent, your house note, and it spirals downward after that. And so I thought, I was like, okay, so how does this work for a wife who doesn't have children, and she's moved into this home with him, and he's a protective leader provider. He has healthy masculine energy, and he allows his children to come back and forth, particularly his daughter. And the American capitalistic, individualistic way of thinking for me was, well, you know, those children probably have champagne tastes and beer budgets. Champagne taste, they have, you know, BMW SUVs and whatever, you know, the luxury, you know, Mercedes Benz is out the yin yang. Whatever the luxury thing is, these children like luxury, but they're working, you know, almost minimum wage jobs. So they have champagne taste, beer budgets, and now they want to come back home when the beer budget doesn't cover the champagne expenses, the luxury car, the apartment in the really nice, wealthy section of town. When what they really need is a better paying job and learn to live within their means. But, you know, the daughter can come in and do that. And so I thought, well, how does that work with a wife who doesn't have any kids that's coming and going of the children? Let's not just say the daughter, but maybe the son, because he has problems too. And not that they're irresponsible adults. So that's not the issue. And then I thought about this multi-generational family and the way of living in India or East Indians who come here and live this way, where, you know, the wife comes to live with the husband's family and she is integrated into the way of that family. I think that's the way it typically goes. The new wife comes to the husband's household where he has with his mom and dad, and she is integrated into how they work that system. And she becomes, and his mother and father become her support system for how to you know, make her son feel better because she raised him, and to become her mentor. Mother-in-law becomes her mentor, so to speak. And so that made me think about, well, what is really wrong with multi-generational living? We used to live that way, way back in the day. We used to live that way. I know my mom was our house or home was the station that people in her family who wanted to come up from the South and come to the North, they would stay with us. And my mom would try to get them a job where she was working, or some other relative would try to get them jobs where they were working. So we were working as a network to come to the North for a better life. Because from the South, as a Black person, all you could do was pick cotton, do domestic work, clean somebody's house, wash their clothes, very labor-intensive work that would have your back aching before you were 30. Or pick cotton, pick tobacco, pick farm products, tomatoes, cucumbers, peas, corn, shuck corn. I've done all of that when I went south for the summer. As a New Yorker going south for the summer, I've done it. I've done everything except pick cotton. I didn't pick cotton. My mother picked cotton. So I said, okay, so as a single woman, unmarried, I'm going to run into this with somebody. Whoever I end up with, they're going to have children, adult children who may need to come home. It's how does he handle it? You know, and that requires some real keen observations on my part. Is he an enabler? Is she disrespectful to him and feeling entitled? Or is she grateful that she has a place where she can come to when she gets in a tough spot? So I'm encouraging more mature women to consider, you know, how that would work out in your life to be in a multi-generational living situation. And I'm going to do a video about this multi-generational living situation for younger women who have younger children, and your husband has younger children too. It gets tricky when the mother is still on this earth plane. It gets a little tricky. And rewiring and reframing people's reference about multi-generational living. Since America is a individualistic society. But there are people from other countries and ethnicities where that is not the norm. And multi-family and multi-generational living is normal for them as first generation new. And then their kids are born, and then they take on this individualist attitude about living situations. Let me know what you think in the description. The comment section. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.